What up? What up? What up? YouTube and Twitch. Man, I feel like it's been a hot minute since I've streamed. Telling you, it has been a rough past 10 days. Been trying to overcome this cold that I guess I have. Whatever it is. Tested for COVID. I was negative multiple times. So, yeah. But I'm like 95% better. And we're still playing BDO for now. Oh, no, don't kill my horse. Don't kill my horse. Oh, no. Mm. I've always. Come on, man. Leave me alone. Like, go on with yourself. Why are you still following me? Like, hello? Oh, no. Uh, all right. All right. I'm hoping we can just leave my horse there. But yeah, I've always wanted to try Ash Forest, but I never, obviously never had the gear for it until now. And yeah, I think this spot aesthetically is just so pleasing. Like the fog, like the reapers, like it's just such a cool, awesome grinding spot. And I'm super glad that I'm able to finally do it. I tried Dekia Ash Forest, and yeah, let's not even talk about that. It was really bad. It was really bad. I literally got one shot multiple times. I'm like, oh great, isn't that awesome? We're gonna be checking out Cannon's podcast, listening to it. It's about Throne of Liberty. I'm kind of curious on his take. So I'm going to play just a few seconds of it just to make sure it sounds okay on stream.
We are officially live. Welcome in, boys. Thank you so much for joining. Guys, we have a...
I guess it can be a little bit louder. Let's see. Where are we at? All right, let's try this.
podcast series that I would like to start. We'll see how
All right,
it
let's
goes.
try this
See how you guys
volume. See
like
how it
it. But this
sounds.
is essentially our state of the game, State of Thrones.
So I don't know.
Throne and Liberty like podcast. Maybe that'll be the title for it. I'm joined here by two
All right, hopefully
fantastic,
it's loud
handsome
enough.
gentlemen.
Okay. All right. Let me restart that there. All right, let me make sure I got all my buffs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My pets. Gotta have my pets. Probably gonna do the Marty realm for an hour and see like if I'm able to get like any more trash. I've been averaging like around 10, like 9 to 10K. So not bad. This will be my third hour here. Let's see, 20. No, let's do like 6. Thank you for the follow. Hype, 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 hype. Your health must be full. There we go. All right, I'm going to assume that my crystals are good. Yep. All right. Let me go ahead and put my scrolls on. And yeah, think we're kind of ready to do it. So let me go ahead and hit play.
We are officially live. Welcome in, boys. Thank you so much for joining. Guys, we have a podcast series that I would like to start. We'll see how it goes, see how you guys like it. But this is essentially our state of the game, state of Throne and Liberty like podcast. Maybe that'll be the title for it. I'm joined here by two fantastic, handsome gentlemen, Mr. Danny and
Ooh,
Mr. Shiku,
hello.
two seasoned veterans of the game that I have fought alongside as well as against, to be honest. And yeah, in today's podcast, we're going to be going over a few different subjects here. I'm going to try and keep this podcast as short as possible. Ideally under 30 minutes so that it's a little bit more digestible on YouTube.
30
But
minutes.
on Twitch for the live stream, we will probably extend past the 30 minutes and continue to talk. So if you guys do want to check out the full extended version,
that's a good incentive.
just got to be here live on Twitch, man. You know, that's what it comes down to.
It's a good incentive.
You can find all these guys' links in the description below. I will go through a very quick and brief introduction period, but before I do, I want you guys to know that the talking subjects today, we're going to be talking about the Western delay. We're going to be talking a little bit about the CEO swapsies from Pearl Abyss and NCSoft, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
More importantly, we're going to be
Just a little
talking
bit.
about the current end game.
Was it actually a
group
swap?
in runes? And then we're going to round this out by talking a little bit about PvP balance and, more importantly, the time to kill. So, Danny, would you give us a brief introduction? Who are you? Where are you playing from? Is that a truck?
Yeah. I'm technically homeless. I'm living in a van now.
That's pretty cool.
I'm running through
van
Starlink
life,
and yeah, I took my family on a bit of
Starlink.
an adventure. So everything I'm
cool.
doing at the moment is streaming from a van. But I've been playing with Pirate Gaming for probably 10 plus years at this point, on and off different crew. But we got a nice core, and we're very excited to play TNL, especially on global. Like Korea's been very fun. But
I don't know. I'm not sold on
Throne
and Liberty yet.
Yeah, man,
we'll see.
Streaming from a van, playing games with the boys, having good times with the family, and here we are. Yeah.
Awesome. Danny, can you tell us a little bit about your experience with Throne?
At the moment, it's it's a dead POV. I'm running in and I'm getting one shot by a major. No, honestly, like in terms of a game, it's probably one of the most exciting games for me. A part of a community that likes PvP and
I
likes
guess it's
MMOs.
maybe good
It's
for
like the game, right?
PvP.
It's actually the game. My only concern is the drop off of players, but I think we'll talk about that as
Yeah.
we go. But
Sure.
the game itself is fucking ace. Like I love it. It's really good. I think there's a lot of depth to it now, especially now they're bringing in a bit more. How do we say casual friendly stuff? I was fishing yesterday. I was in my van fishing on TNL for like 3 hours.
Fishing.
Overarching comment is a great game, and I think people need to try it out.
Awesome. Shiku, stage is yours.
Yo, I mean, jokes aside, I am from Egypt indeed. Like, I know that this comes up as a joke from Cannon's end a lot on the stream. Yeah, I've been streaming MMOs for like a year and a half now. Mostly, like, Throne has been like my main go-to game, honestly. Based on what Danny was mostly saying, it is definitely a game that brings back like the community vibe specifically, and that's what I
That's
like about
good.
it. Even though honestly, as a crossbow dagger player, I hate my life, but we will talk about that later. It's
That is
fine.
good though, if it's like community based.
But yeah, I do like a lot of things that they're doing with the game. But at the same time, sadly, there are some negatives that we will be also talking about. But overall, like, yeah.
What are you grinding for tonight?
Egypt, fair.
I'm not grinding really anything.
You know it.
What up, Jay? Hope you're doing all right. Like it's been a while.
I've been
Okay.
streaming for like 1.5 years, and that's about it.
Fantastic. And like I said, once again, guys, you can find all their socials.
Bro, real quick. I tried Dekia. Oh gosh. Dekia Ash Forest. Dude, Nope. I got one shot so many times. It's like not today. Not ever. Too stressful. But yeah, I'm not really grinding anything for in particular. Just this is my 3rd hour here at Ash Forest. Trying to give it a fair shakedown. I really love this place though. It's very aesthetically pleasing. Like this is like my type of vibe. Just dark, foggy, reapers. Oh, even with the orb. Yeah, buddy. Full-blown wizard now. You inspired me. Absolutely inspired me. Have you quit the game yet? All the doomsday posts going on? You still playing? Wizard is the way. I really do like Wizard, to be honest with you. I like the big AoE. The sustain's pretty good. It's probably a decent like PvP class, like for like large scale. Not definitely not small scale, but for large scale. Yeah, but I keep coming back. LOL. I know. Tiny man, them Steam charts looking a little rough. Looking a little rough. Yeah, my next video should be kind of interesting that I got planned for this Friday. The downfall of BDO. I'm not gonna lie. I've been looking at playing good old RuneScape. Old school RuneScape. I've always wanted to give that game like a fair like trial, but like I just never got into it. And I don't know. It's looking a little intriguing. Of course I'm not quitting BDO, but something else kind of to do on the side. Potentially. Throne in Liberty is going to be coming out here soon though, and I'm sure I'll give that a fair trial. But I just don't know if I'm going to like the combat, unfortunately. I don't know. We keep playing
Socials
this.
in the link below in the description. You can find their links in the description below. Sorry. So just to make sure we are on time here, and this isn't a 7-hour podcast. Let's get right into
7 hour.
it. Before we start talking about the Western delay, which is the first subject, this is a conversation about the general state of the game. So please keep in mind, a lot of people that might be watching this are also players that are completely ignorant to the game, that have never played the game before. And I do want to allow them to understand what we're talking about, right? So with that said, Shiku, tell us, can you share
Thank
your
you for the
thoughts on
follow.
just what you think or how you perceive
Yo,
the
Jay, thanks
general
for the
state of
follow.
Throne Liberty? Is it good? Is it bad? What does it feel like? Is it pay to win, not pay to win? Just like a general TLDR. How's the game? If some
Honestly,
random new player was gonna ask you.
I think the game has a lot to do. Like, it's definitely very fun if you're like new to the game. Like specifically,
Of
if you're new
course,
to the
every
game and you're
MMO
trying it for
is
the first time.
fun
I
for the
think
first
can be a
time.
little overwhelming to some degree, but really fun to explore. That was, in my
The world
opinion,
looks
like the
beautiful.
most
I will
fun
say
I've
the
had
world and
playing
the
the game as a new
graphics
player.
look amazing.
But then again, I think
Oh,
a lot of things feel incomplete to some degree. As in, like, the game has a lot of potential, but a lot of the systems that get implemented are kind of, they just feel kind of shallow, some of them.
ah,
Some are great, don't get me wrong, but some just feel like a little on the incomplete end, that it feels like they just were not thought through
whew, look at
correctly.
that, dude. That right
And
there
if they
was
get tweaked, I think that will
straight one shot.
actually showcase the potential this game could actually have. But as long as they're like coming out in these
Yeah,
like
BDO potential. The
incomplete
potential it
formats,
has.
that could hurt the game in the long run. So I'm
Okay.
hoping they have a plan for these kinds of things
Danny,
long term.
what's your take?
TLDR is
Yep.
it's a bloody great game. You're gonna get your ass kicked. You're gonna kick some ass. The story, dare I say it, is actually quite good. Like the playthrough of the questing and everything, they've actually done a good job. It feels nice.
I didn't know they had one.
You level up quickly. Yeah, I'm all about the lore, me. You know, I love the lore.
No, it's actually
No,
yeah,
I
it is
don't.
actually yeah. I heard it's pretty good.
I don't really care about it, but like the cinematics and the way that they kind of keep you engaged while you play through that, it's not like that
Especially
previous
the
game I
music.
played. You know, this is actually yeah, it's good. Like it's genuinely good. My worry is
It's
that
kind of funny. I
very punishing
like
for
never
new
play with
players. Like to get into a game.
the sound
It is
from
a
games.
PvP focused game. To get into the PvP,
Like
is
I
very
can't remember last time I
difficult
turned the sound
if you're
on
not
for BDO.
with someone who's going to talk you through it or spend your time learning on YouTube and all that stuff. So I think it's a very good game, but it's very punishing for new players, and I think that will hurt it 2 to 3 months down the line if they don't figure out that situation.
So this game just got recently delayed. It is officially now set to release October 1st. Not early access. Early access, I believe, is September 26th. What do you guys think? Go for it, Danny. Thoughts?
For me, I actually I came from another game that AGS were kind of dealing with, and I know that that's got some stuff going on at a very similar time. And I don't want to say anything bad, but I think there's a
About World of
coincidence there
Warcraft?
of why
Yeah.
there's the delay. I don't think it's got anything to do with fishing or life skilling or sorting out the new skills, because
What game
seen
is
them,
it?
they're working.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're trying to sort out their servers, because we know that that's AGS is Achilles' heel is their servers not working all the time. So I think they're going to try and sort that shit out, and then try and make sure that their new world console thing has a great time. I honestly think to do with
Yeah.
the delay. But I think it's better.
Oh,
For
you're talking about
us
New
because
World?
We can just kind of take a step back from the Korean launch for now and just chill out and get ourselves ready.
Sure.
But I don't know what a delay, man. I'm very sad about it, to be honest. I got so many guys that have booked time off
Already.
That
Yeah.
is rough.
That's the big issue.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's the biggest L in
we're
all
getting
of this.
like, everyone will tell you don't take time off. We know that, but we're going to take time off, man. We're
Yeah.
getting it, so
Yeah, I think that's
it's
a
very
poor
sad
excuse.
overall, but.
I think people that say, well, then it was your fault for taking time off. I think that's a terrible take, to be honest, because it's like, dude,
It's
people
always
are very
rough.
passionate about launches, you know, and it's not easy once you set your leave to change your leave depending on your job.
Yep.
Right? Like it is like that was 100% AGS dropping the ball. I
Yeah,
have my
it's always the
opinions, of course,
worst.
but Shiku, why don't you share yours first?
I've never actually taken any days off
Honestly,
work though for like a release
mine is
of a
bit
game.
straightforward. It's
Because
like
usually the first week
we've
is always
dealt
terrible
with
anyway of
before
the
in
game
terms of other
launch.
games, not
Laggy,
talking about any
server
other
issues.
titles or anything,
No, you
but
can.
It's almost like a
delays
waste of time.
happen.
It's not a
Yeah, like the
sponsored
delays
video.
happen in like in the previous two games. Lost Ark and New World, we've seen delays. They happen last minute. I saw it coming. It's kind of funny because we were talking about it in our guild like a few days before it happened, and then we got kicked in the face by it. And obviously, as Danny said, like the delay is terrible for people that already like booked their leaves from work, because some people can be more flexible, some cannot. Especially that you also added like the early access that people bought already because of a specific date.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a big F in their face, because now their money is like spent on something that they didn't pay for.
Not sure what
But
you
to
have
be
on your
fair, you
aqua
can get a
gel,
refund.
but me, I have DP down and
You-
health
you can't
regen
get
on
a
it. Helps
refund.
with that.
Yeah,
Take you on Ash.
Through
Oh, okay.
Steam,
I'll have to
so
check it
yeah,
out.
Yeah. That part you
I'm
can
not
get a
really sure what I
refund,
have
but
on it
yeah,
either,
still
to be honest with
sucks,
you.
for sure.
It
It's a good
definitely
question.
sucks, yeah, regardless. Especially if you're in a hardcore environment, like let's be real, all hardcore guilds want that
Yeah, I don't know.
first
Thanks for the
week or
tip,
two
though.
to be like a big push. So even if they get a refund or whatever, it's not gonna change the fact that some will not be able to change their
Sure.
holidays, and that will definitely be bad for them.
Yeah. So for me, here's my take on this, and just I want to be clear.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I have.
because I have obviously worked with AGS. on
Jay,
some
are you going to be
projects in the
trying
past.
out Throne
I'm
and
not-
Liberty?
What I'm about to say is 100% my subjective opinion. This is this is no backdoor information that I have. You know, I've not talked to AGS about any of this. Here's my theory, my subjective opinion. I don't think the delay has anything to do with New World. I really don't. I think they moved the date for New World because of Throne's delay, but I think it, and I also agree with Danny, there's no way that this has anything to do with these changes. I went to NCSoft and the dude at NCSoft literally told me in person, yes, you guys are going to get all the updates. Like he literally said it. Like that was one of the few questions I asked them, are we going to get the updated version? And they said, you're going to be like, you know, you're obviously going to be a little behind, but like the significant updates, like the core updates, you will get the updated versions, which is, I mean, skill specialization is pretty fucking is a core update, right?
Yeah.
So it's so obvious to me, guys. Come on, it's so obvious. It's World of Warcraft, 100%. World of Warcraft's raids, their endgame raids open up that week, and everybody is going to be playing.
Yeah.
You have World First and all these raids that week. It's 1,000% they are trying to dodge that, which it is a good
Makes
idea.
sense.
I think
Makes
the
sense.
decision to dodge it is objectively the right decision. So I think it is a good decision on AGS for having an October 1st release date. However, they dropped the ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it
because
out.
they
Need something to
should
get
have
me
said it
away
like
from
October
BDO.
1st to begin with. They shouldn't have said it earlier and then
fair
delayed
enough.
it, and now people kind of get fucked over because they've already set their
Fair enough.
their days off and stuff, and then also the whole expectation level. But for me,
Yeah, we'll
and
see.
again,
We'll
guys,
see.
I don't
I don't
this is
know.
not confirmed. Like this is just my subjective opinion.
I really don't
I've
think
not
it's that
I
great of a
don't
game,
have
but
any communication with them about this.
who knows?
I think it's for sure them trying to dodge WoW. And if you think, oh, well, the WoW player base doesn't really, it goes beyond just the players that are going to be playing Throne and Liberty. It also goes
I think it will be
towards
good
their
probably for a couple
marketing, which I know
months
a lot
at
of you guys
least,
are
for
like,
sure.
Like, AGS, when are you going to market this game? And what I told my chat was kind of a long rant, but what I told my chat was, would you consider Lost Ark's launch a success? And everybody says yes, because I mean, how could you not? It's like over 1 million players playing. They did not market their game commercially. What they did was they sponsored a bunch of fucking streamers to play the game extensively, and that's how they essentially marketed the game. I know for a fact that AGS is going to be sponsoring a lot of content creators. But if it's during the week of World First and World of Warcraft, bro, for example, like I don't know, like for example, Maximum. Do you think they're gonna be? I don't know if Maximum's gonna play, but do you think someone like Maximum is gonna play fucking Throne and Liberty at launch
No,
day and accept a
definitely not.
sponsor? Of course not. They're gonna lose a lot of people in that WoW, and it would be stupid of them to compete with WoW. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
To be honest, like
No,
not
it
to
makes a lot of
prolong
sense,
this,
man.
it does make a lot of sense, but not to prolong it. The only issue is the fact that like people already are sitting there because of mistakes that have happened in the past as well. And also early access, let's be real, was something that people didn't really like. So it was like all these things coming together. That delay was basically like the last straw to some people based on things in the past as well.
For
That's all.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. So the Western delay is happening, but okay, when it comes to just this game coming out in the West, period, like just in general, the open beta didn't have the highest number of how many do we have? Like it was around 50K, I think, on Steam, right?
Yeah, like
Oh,
Chat, help me
really?
out here.
Yeah.
I think it was like 50-ish K. Now, to be fair, that didn't include console. We're gonna get a little bit of a push with console players, but with PC, that's what it was. Now, I saw something recent.
I'm assuming that's not
with, like, I think there
cross-platform.
was something recently on Steam, like Steam's.
I wonder if it's
wish list, I think they
cross-platform.
had like
I doubt
over
it, but
400,000 people had Throne on their wish list or something like that. I don't know. How do you guys think
that's a
Throne's
lot.
gonna do in the West,
400,000.
launch wise?
Wow.
Ooh. I'm just looking now at the player.
Is it 680K? 680K. Okay.
Wow,
Like,
680K. That's kind of crazy.
600K personally.
You
like,
think
online.
no chance, bro? Really? You think so?
I think like 500K. Like this is like accounting for console as well, obviously. Not
Uh-huh.
just Steam.
Oh,
Like I
with
think
console.
about maybe
Okay.
500K with console. Yeah, about 500K.
How much
a
without
lot.
console?
Realistically, 200K possibly.
Do you think there are going to be
300K.
more console players than PC players?
The reason I think there is going to be more console players is because of the fact that there are so many people that are waiting for a new MMO on console. We
Yeah.
have not had an MMO on console for a while. So I think
I'm
that
sorry,
alone is going to
but
bring like a lot of people.
you don't
Obviously,
play an
there's gonna stay
MMO on
along,
console.
Uh-huh.
You just don't.
But I think
Like-
you're going to have like about 300K PC, 200K console. I would say.
Really?
Yeah. I might be very generous, but I think
Sure.
you would see that.
Danny, what do
Yeah.
you think?
I guess the
it's
ESO
really
is not
difficult
bad.
because
You can
there's
play
a lot of
ESO on
negativity out
console.
there about the game already.
I don't know how I would
People
feel about
just
playing
dodge it.
BDO on console.
If they pull in the if they pull in all the big streamers, they do have a lot of.
I feel like I
have
need
a
my
lot of clout
keyboard
with a lot
mouse
of
for
people,
that.
So people will
Mhm.
try it. It's free to play, right? So
That
I
is
think
true. It
it's
is free to
quite high. I
play.
think you're looking at like
Yeah.
700,000-800,000 on launch day. But
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, it's free to
I
play.
think AGS are good at doing this, right? We've seen it
True,
on
that's a
New
good
World, and that
point.
was they
That's a good
managed
point.
to pull in big numbers, and it's very important to them because moving forward, if they say that they had a good launch on like if you look at New World, it is a blinding success of a game when it comes down to business. It is
Mm,
successful in every right. You look
from
at
the
the way they
business
speak about
perspective,
it,
sure.
it's extremely successful, and I think that's extremely important for AGS to get Throne of
Yeah.
Liberty to be a success on launch, and
For
that
sure.
could become down to streamers or marketing or whatever. I think they'll bring in massive numbers on launch, but I think we'll see quite a big decline quite quickly because of how
Sure.
it's quite complicated, and if you don't spend 20 minutes sorting out your settings and
Sure.
changing XYZ, it's a very punishing game to the average player.
Yeah.
And look what New World did. They brought in the average player. They brought in FPS players to play MMOs for the first time. Like, New World was many people's first MMO, and AGS are quite good at bringing in the numbers early on.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be big, but there'll be a
Yeah.
big drop.
There'll be a big drop,
I
for sure.
do agree with I do agree with some of what you're saying. I think if there's any company that can actually take this game and really get it to a high, I don't want to say high level, but like get a lot of players to actually play it on launch day, I think it definitely is AGS, primarily because of the money, but also it's hard to kind of argue with their track record, right? Like their previous two MMOs, they all did like around 1 million. Right, which is big. You guys are way more optimistic than I am. I do not think they're going to even come close to those numbers with Throne, but they do have the experience, and I never say never, because one thing that they did do with Lost Ark that I know that they did was the sponsors that they offered to certain streamers and whatnot. Which, by the way, I'm not breaking any NDA here because I was not sponsored for Lost Ark's launch. But they, I know for a fact that they would offer these sponsorships, but in those sponsorships, they would require a certain amount of hours past level cap. So it'd be like you have to hit level cap, and then you have to stream X amount of hours. Now,
Makes
they
sense.
spent a lot of money. I know some streamers, and
Jeez.
they told me how
He's right. All we
what
have
some
on
of their
consoles
deals were,
BDO,
and
so
I
I'm pretty
was
sure
like,
everyone will be running to
"Holy
play
shit, that's
something
a
new.
lot."
That's
but
true.
like, and
Yeah.
I have no idea what they're gonna do for Throne. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's
to
ESO
me,
though. There's
no way they're
ESO.
just gonna
Elder Scrolls
half-ass it
Online.
with Throne, right? And if they were to do,
But
a
I feel like other
similar,
than like ESO and
similar
BDO, there's
thing with
really
Throne, where they're
really
like,
nothing
"Hey,
else. I mean, I
you
guess
need
you
to
could
get
play
to level cap
Final
and then
Fantasy
play for an X
14,
amount of
but
hours." I think that'll be good.
I don't know
Because
how many
then,
people really play
as
that.
You guys, a lot of you guys in chat here know, Throne really picks up at the end game, right? It's definitely an end game MMO. So I think that's a net W. But even with that, guys, man, I think PC users 100 to 200K. I think it's gonna be 100 to 200K. I'm sorry. Like, I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's like 100 to 200K PC.
Do you think that because of the negativity that surrounded it over the past year, essentially?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a
I'm not gonna lie.
problem,
I
It's
really
the-
wasn't gonna
it's the,
try.
negative stigma that surrounds the game.
I really wasn't gonna try Throne and Liberty.
It's also the open beta. Like, if you look at the beta test numbers, for a completely open beta test, it was in my opinion very underwhelming.
I didn't even know when it was coming out.
Anytime you have a beta test and a region is dead to the point where Shroud had to go to NA East from West, that's not a good sign. And NA East wasn't even kicking, by the way. I was playing on NA East. There's literally one hardcore.
Yeah, I didn't even know the beta was even out.
On the entire NA East. And I know the counter argument to this is like, oh, well, there's a lot of people that didn't want to play, and that's true. I know a lot of guilds, a lot of people that didn't want to play because they didn't want to burn out. But we're talking about an open fucking beta where it's an opportunity to play the game for the first time. Only doing 50K. I don't know. I also
I don't think that's bad. 50K for a
I
beta.
just wanted to comment on the part about the NA part because it's actually kind of funny because I get asked this a lot, and I always say that I feel like this game is going to be an EU game. Because judging by Lineage 2 specifically, which is supposedly a pre-sequel of this, it's like you can tell that EU are the main players for these kinds of games.
Yeah, EU is way more active, it felt like.
Yeah.
Way
sure,
more.
Yeah.
The first Descendant took a lot of players from BDO on console. Ah, okay.
Anyways, moving on. Unless you guys have anything to add.
Oh, I didn't know that.
CEO recently moved over. I had an opportunity to meet this lady in person. She was fantastic. She seemed like a fantastic human being, and I have a lot of respect for what she's done for Black Desert Online West in the West. For NAEU, I think she's done a pretty good job. It's hard to say you did a bad job when the game 10 years later still has as many players as it does, right?
For now,
or
it did.
MMOs have that amount of players that play the game after 10 years, right? It's close to 10 years now, and she is now working for NCSoft America. Any thoughts on this, boys?
Honestly, it's just hard to tell, honestly, because first of all, I don't know how much of an impact she would even have as a person. I don't know like what her role is going to be.
CEO.
Second of all, it's NC. Well, yeah, but it's NC America. Does she have a direct
Yeah.
impact on Throne Global?
Sure.
Because it's published by Amazon Games.
It's
Like,
different.
It's kind of hard to
It's
tell
different.
if she even has any direct like impact on Throne itself. Maybe in other games, sure. But Throne, I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong, obviously, but
yeah, I don't think she's gonna have too much, to be honest.
I don't have
with
much.
Throne. Gotcha.
Oh,
That's okay.
I'm lagging. My bad.
No, you're good. Yeah, I think personally she's not gonna have. I have no idea either. I don't think she's gonna have too much. I think it's gonna just come down to AGS. And
I didn't even know she was
area,
the CEO
but
until she left.
I'm kind of excited with what is going to happen.
I was like, wait, we had a CEO.
in the Americas with like
Probus had a
things like
CEO
like
in
that,
America.
Yeah, I guess that's another subject.
Never knew.
Oh yeah, Blade and Soul.
Never knew.
Definitely interesting.
Yeah.
To see. I agree.
Didn't even know that was a
Alright, so
thing.
we're gonna move on then. We're blasting through this, boys, at the 23-minute marker, according to my recording right now. Let's talk about the endgame loop. This is a fucking big one for me, boys.
All right, in-game loop.
This is a really
I have no
big one
idea
for
what
me.
to expect,
A lot of
honestly,
people
with
don't know this.
with
A lot of
Throne of
people that
Liberty.
are playing the hyper boosting server also don't know this because it's a completely different endgame loop on the hyper boosting server and on the retail server. The reason why is because the hyper boosting server is a catch-up server. Think seasonal servers in BDO, for example. So it's very different. I am experiencing the real endgame loop.
Okay,
And
what's
it's
the
not
real in
great.
game?
And before I
Uh-oh,
let
not great.
these two handsome young men
Let's hear it.
explain their or share their opinions on it, let me kind of give you the skinny here real quick. Originally, Throne and Liberty's endgame was fairly dynamic. You had events every hour during the prime time, and you didn't have to go to these events. So there was not like the level of FOMO wasn't it isn't what you would think. But you had incentive to go to these events because you would directly progress your character by doing these events. On top of that, you would have a few static things that you could do at any time. You can do your dungeons, your contracts with just your daily missions, and your open world dungeon grind, which is just like BDO grinding mobs, right? In like TLDR in a nutshell, it was pretty much those three things, and then the events that you do. So you're always doing something different, right? The current end game has changed. You still have your dungeons, open world grind, and the contracts. That's still there. But the majority of your time now, when you're done with those things, because those three things, by the way, do not take you very long. Just a few. It'll take you like 5 to 10 minutes each, depending. I mean, 15 minutes tops, 20 minutes tops each. Usually not even that long. Again, it depends on how geared you are and how efficient you are, but roughly somewhere around there. You know, it doesn't take long. But now you are spending your time doing these challenge dungeons, which on its own I think is great because they're like Mythic Plus like dungeons. They're 2 dungeons every week, and it's Mythic Plus mode. You go all the way from tier 1, tier 30, all the way up, and they just get progressively more difficult. These dungeons you can spam all day, every day, and they drop runes. And at the end game, once you get all your gear, you're essentially just leveling up your runes to progress vertically. And you're just doing these dungeon runs over and over and over and over and over again because that's all there is to do, because they've also gutted the awards that you get from the events, from the open world events. So doing these dynamic events like that faction v faction v faction PvP, all that stuff, it's actually kind of a waste of time because you don't get anything from it. You literally get 1 rune, a little bit of solent, and a fruit basket that you could use to craft food buffs. That's all you get. Meanwhile, if you run a challenge dungeon, you can get like 10 plus runes in 1 run that can take you 5 to 10 minutes, right? So this is the new endgame loop. I personally hate it. I very much dislike this rune grind. I'm just bored of it. I really am. What do you guys think? Thoughts? Chica, why don't you start us off on this?
To be honest, I have a lot to say about this, to be fair. I'm one of the people that liked the end game to some degree. Like, it was not perfect.
What's
but
the
it was
runes
good
for?
enough. It felt dynamic, as you said.
Did you say that?
So it's really interesting for me to see them take that somehow out of the window and make something that was originally good this bad. Like, it is horrifically bad. And I think a lot of people didn't play the game, would not even understand that you'll literally run the runes grind infinitely per day. Like, as Kana was saying, like, this is the kind of run you would do an infinite amount. If you want to do it like 50 times in a row,
yeah.
you would sit there, do the same dungeon
Yeah.
50 times in a row in one day. That is fucking insane to me.
Oh,
So
you're
I
just repeating the
think,
dungeon over and over and
honestly,
over.
like,
There's no variability
the
to it.
system at its core is flawed anyway. Like, they shouldn't have implemented it in the way such as you
Well,
do your
same
tier
thing
1
as
or tier
BDO's
2,
grinding
which
in a
you get the
circle.
loot out of. And then
Nothing
once
different
you're
there.
done with that, you now work on your runes because you get to a point where you still need traits or gear, and then you need to do those runs, and then you need to do the runes after, even though they are essentially the same dungeons. I think they should have just been implemented as one system and maybe even cap the entries so that you commit to the other stuff. And I definitely think the dynamic events changes were really bad. Like the whole basket thing and all that stuff for the food buffs, that was definitely terrible. Like,
Yeah.
they definitely should have made it more impactful, especially the PvP. Like, let's be real, PvP should always be, like, in my opinion at least, should always be a high risk, high reward kind of thing. So for them to make it like as equal or pretty much the same to the PvE events, kind of like kills the whole aspect of wanting to go for the high risk, because why would you do that? It's just a waste of time.
So just to clarify for the viewers at home,
Viewers at home.
what Shiku was talking about were 2 different types of dungeons. In Throne of Liberty, you now have two different types of dungeons. So like they're the same dungeons, but you have a challenge mode version, which are the Mythic Plus ones that you can spam infinitely and they give you runes. And there are just regular dungeons. These dungeons, you can do up to 2 times a day on average. You get 2 entries per day that can stack, so you can stack those entries and do them all at once if you want later. But you have like 2 entries per day, and those dungeons, they drop chests and they give you a bunch of rewards. So you get gear out of the chests. You can
stop.
get soul int. You can even get loosened depending on how you go about kind of dismantling the gear and whatnot. But you get a lot of loot from the dungeons, and those 2 different things. Well, I think what Shiku's saying is that he prefers if they combine those 2, where you can do the where you can get the runes and knock out your dungeon points both at the same time. I think that's what you meant, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because they're the same dungeons anyway.
Right, it's the same dungeons. Danny, what are your thoughts? So Danny, you've been playing this game
I don't have much of an opinion on this.
Yeah, you've been playing this game for a long time, but you stopped playing and then you recently came back. And when you came back, you've been playing the Hyperboost server. The Hyperboost server, it's a very different progression system than the actual current end game. So I know you haven't really gotten into this, but what do you think, just on paper, the idea of an end game where you're just running the same dungeon over and over and over and over and over again? To clarify, just so that I want to clarify my stance on this, I don't mind having a feature in a game that you can grind infinitely. I personally, I don't really mind that, but I don't like how the only thing that you really need to do in the current end game is that challenge dungeon over and over and over and over and over and over again. That's what I would prefer them to juice out the events, so that you'd rather do the events, and then there's more incentive to do the events, and then when the event isn't on, you can grind out the dungeon if you want. I would prefer that. So I do think it's like one change away from being good, but I just don't like it how it currently is. Danny, sorry for that long-winded explanation there. What are your thoughts?
My signal's been a bit bad, so I'm sorry if I missed stuff or whatever. But I can see the guys in chat already outing me. I can admit that I haven't done a single dungeon in Hyperboost. That I haven't done one
in the Hyperboost.
Whoa! Almost died there. Calm down.
I haven't touched it at all.
Hey! Whoa!
I have half-traded gear.
What's going on here?
Couldn't be bothered. I think I'm on like my 5th character or something. But the idea behind it is bad, right? I can talk about this on an overarching sort of situation where my experience in another game that's similar, like Guild Wars, where everybody needs to get to a similar power level within a sensible period of time, so everybody can get involved in the content. And the content really is those dynamic events. Every event is somewhat different because it's different because of the people. Whereas if you're doing these end game dungeons, you're just playing against the AI.
That'd be cool. They could introduce that into BDO, dynamic events.
But if everybody can get to a similar power level and you can run these infinite dungeons to creep that power level, a certain amount, because you're putting in the effort, so you can get a little bit more powerful than everybody else. That's good. That's a good thing to do, because it gives you something to constantly work towards. But I couldn't even bother to do a single dungeon, because I knew there's so much you have to do to get yourself geared up to be competitive in PvP. Like I was at like Hidden Brown Mika event for all the Dominion events, because I was down with the peasants, man. I was just fighting with the newbies. I was like, yeah, it was great. But honestly, I had so much more fun being there on my current level than I did playing against you guys at the top, who I'm getting one shot by, and I had full purple gear. So to a normal person, that's pretty good. But if you're not traded, you're not ruined, you're not this, that, and the other, that you have to spend a lot of time working on, you're screwed. And it's a punishing system. So yes, it's a bad system in general. I think we should make sure that people can get powered pretty quickly, and then give people an extra 10% to take it to that super next level. Sorry, I'm waffling now, but yeah.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, way better than me. I go on these random ass rants that take 9.
Did you guys?
Dude, I'm telling you.
Get the new weapons on PC yet?
Guys, we've already gone past my
not yet.
Mark here, but we're gonna go over this last subject, because I think this is kind of the main subject and one of the more important.
I think
points, which is the time to kill. So we're going to talk a little bit about PvP balance, but let's start this discussion off with the time to kill. For those of you guys don't
I
know, what
think
time to kill is,
the new
T2K,
weapons
it
come
is the
out
amount of
September
time
10th,
that it
I believe.
usually
new
that
sovereign
will
weapons.
usually take someone to kill another player. So
Which is
let's say the
actually
time to kill
earlier
is fast,
than
and let's say it's
what they've
it's like a
kind of
second. That
anticipated.
means you're fucking
Probably
someone engages on you,
because
and you literally
of
die
all
in
of
like one ability, one shot.
the
Right?
doomsday
So the time to kill right now in
aspect
Throne of
post.
Liberty is very fast. If you've played this game in the past, especially in the early stages when everyone has no traits and is in green gear, the time to kill is significantly slower. I actually really like the pacing of early game PvP. However, currently it's really fast. And for those of you who are playing hyper boosting server, it's especially fast because you're killing people with very little gear, and you have like tier 2 weapons, and you have maxed out skills, and then the people you're fighting probably doesn't even have a tier 2 armor set and or traits, right? So it's very different. But in the end game, the real end game where everyone is geared out with tier 2 gear, it's not quite like Hybrid Boost, but it's still very fast. A great sword dagger jumps on you, you're dying in 2 abilities, right? 2 3 abilities. So it's still insanely fast. So this is something that NCSoft addressed directly. Well, they haven't. Well, they have. I should say they addressed verbally. They said that they were going to increase the time to kill, but they further acknowledged their stance recently in the previous update by saying we were waiting for the skill specializations to go through before we made any adjustments to the time to kill, which I believe is the right call. You don't want to preemptively make changes without testing this.
Let's just take the
combat
place
system
of
that's coming in the
Blackstar.
game.
Yeah.
But here's
Yep.
what they said. They said that they're already
Essentially,
seeing time to kill slowing down with
it's
the new runes and the trait
like
resonances. And as runes
like
level up,
the dead god armor,
let me backtrack. They said that
or the
time to
fallen
kill
god
became
armor,
faster, but is now starting to slow down.
like tier level.
People had rune synergies, right? Because rune synergies increase. It made the time to kill even
So
faster.
yeah, you'll have the
more
Black
offense.
Star,
But now that time to
like
kill
the
is
pin
starting
Black
to slow
Star,
down,
and then you'll have the
because
sovereign
people are
weapons,
getting
which will
more
be like the
defensive traits through
top of
their
the
trait
top.
resonance,
And
their
they enhance all the way to
their
deck.
runes.
So
Their
10
runes leveling up.
10
Now,
enhancements.
you have that's coming out in a few days with tier 2 accessories coming out.
So you
We don't
have
legendary
Pride,
gear that's coming
Duo,
out until
Try,
January. And they also said that
Tet,
there's going to be a
Pin,
significant amount
Hex,
of HP that is increased,
and then
from
whatever
level 50 to level
the other ones
55, which
are,
also
all the way
drops
up
this
to,
week.
I guess it's deck,
Now,
which is 10.
this just kind of opens the door for a lot of different things. And before I give my take, I wanted to just kind of explain the situation for the viewers at home that might not understand what the current situation
But
is.
yeah, I think you need
I hope you guys. I hope that was
in
a
order to like
decent
craft it like the
explanation.
first
But
day, you
Danny,
need 2
you're
pin
pretty
Black
passionate about
Stars,
this. Why don't you share your
or the
thoughts on
flame.
time
You
to
can
kill
grind the
and
flame out.
kind of where they're going with it. Do you like where they're going with it? How is it now? Tell me your thoughts.
You can either grind the flame or you can get
obviously I
2 pin
can't
Black
comment too much
Stars.
'cause I'm not at end game, and I think I'll comment on it from like an average player.
Which I guess isn't
PvP, and
too
like
bad.
you know, from a content point of view, you want the game to be popping. You want as many people as you can. So for us, we can reach more people. You can then fight new people. The more people in the game, the more healthy the game becomes. And my main issue is that people are starting. Well, a lot of people are end game now, right? On the Korean servers, they're there. But it's taken 7 months, was it? 6-7 months for a lot of people to get there. And I think my worry is that if it's going to take you 6 to 7 months without a hyper boost server to catch up, it's a very difficult game to enter.
Yeah.
If you don't enter on launch, and that's the main concerning thing. And time to kill comes if there is too much power for some people because they can kill you quickly or whatever.
Makes sense.
I think that is an overarching issue that I think, like you say, they're trying to deal with. But the bottom line, or the bottom line for me, really is everybody needs to survive a little bit of time, regardless of what level you are. Okay, there's some exception there, but people need to be able to survive to learn their class, to learn what they're doing wrong. And at the moment, even me, I'm sat on full pink. Fair enough, I've only got half traits. I'm getting one shot by a mage who I can't even see. And so how do I learn?
We're gonna hate to see the price of that.
I
Yeah,
think
no
a lot of
kidding.
people won't bother trying to learn; they'll just quit.
Sure.
Like, could you imagine all the way to deck?
That's a really worrying situation for all of us, right? From a community leader or a guild leader, we're gonna have
I think
no one
someone
to
posted
fight,
on
and
YouTube,
people are gonna quit our guilds
like
because
they got,
they're not really
I think
into it.
Korea, someone in
It's
Korea
it's a
got
very slippery slope that
the deck
we're
version
talking about,
with
and
like 800,000
I hope
crons or
the
something like
changes they're
that,
making is gonna
which is
sort that out.
insane. Like,
But
dude,
yeah, I'm nervous for this
800,000
because this is what I'm
crons,
thinking after 2 to 3 months, the
bruh.
player base will drop
Like, what?
drastically because people are going to be behind. And fuck, I'm
Like,
not going to
such
spend
a
the next 4
crazy
months
silver
trying to
sink.
PVE my way to then do some PvP. So yeah, it's a worrying situation, and I think if they don't sort out with this patch for global, it might have a really bad effect.
Chiku, your thoughts?
Foreseeable future of the game.
Honestly, like I'm not gonna get into the whole like pay to win topic because I feel like we're past the this anyway.
Yeah,
the
no pay
only
to win
thing
talk
that
for this one. Yep.
Yeah, that's fine. The only thing that I want to talk about is I feel like I just dislike how they overcomplicate the whole TTK thing because let's be real,
Dude,
like
he
this is something
sounds
that's
so
worked in a lot of
familiar,
MMOs before.
like someone I know.
They had good systems in a lot of other MMOs before, and it's kind of weird that they're not trying to learn from those MMOs. And I dislike the whole idea of like putting the new changes that they're gonna do in Talandre, which is like from 50 to 55, you're gonna get like this like insane skyrocketing of HP and defensive stats, and also the PvP stats and such. Because I think all that is going to do is realistically just make you tankier, and that's it. But you're still gonna be dealing with the balance issues. And I think at its core, honestly, the only real way to solve this is like put different percentages on skills for both PvE and PvP, in my opinion. I don't think realistically
I watched that
you will
video.
ever
There's no I'm
reach
doing
like
that.
proper stable PvE.
So
The
that
gap
is,
in
yeah. So it was
percentages on
800,000
weapons
crons,
in
right?
PvE
Right?
as PvP.
It's crazy,
And
dude.
we've seen it with a lot of weapons that one weapon
I need to
will
watch that video.
perform in PvE, but then you take it to PvP,
Probably would make me
and then
cry.
it's suddenly really bad, and vice versa. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, BDO does that as well. But I think the introduction to the PvP stat is going to be kind of a remedy. It could be a remedy to that because if you actually look in game, like when they explained it on the announcement, it was just like, hey, we're gonna add like PvP stats so that damage can be reduced. But if you actually look in the game in your stat sheet, they already have everything done. Like if you see, it's like there's literally like PvP hit, PvP endurance, PvP a defense, like all of that. Like it's literally in your stat sheet. So I think this is something that they may have kind of considered prior, knowing that damage is going to obviously scale up as you go vertical. So I don't know. It'll be
I wish you
interesting
could.
to see what they do.
The one
I
aspect
would
that
say
I
that
don't
I'm a
like
little
about
bit
the new
concerned
weapons
with how they go about
is you
it
can't change the color.
because
Like, what if you
I
don't
would
like yellow?
rather have everyone just become innately
Like, why can't you
tankier
change the color
to increase the time to kill?
to like
And
white
of course, and I'm
or
not talking
blue
about balance here
or
because
purple?
balance is another conversation. But I think it would be better because like the alternative to that is kind of what is in the end game now, which is more defensive stats, which is more defensive evasion or endurance. So a lot of people don't know what I'm about to say because they haven't experienced this. But if you are end game in KR, you'll already begin to feel this, especially if you're fighting other people that are end game. But what's happened is that currently hit and those offensive stats are kind of capped. So you're somewhere around 1 to 1.5k hit, but you've gotten a lot of evasion, or excuse me, a lot of crit. So this is why a lot of people are saying, oh, endurance isn't as good because people have a lot of crit, but evasion is way more accessible now, even more. So builds are now starting to push 2.4 to 3k evasion. And believe me, I was starting to fight some dagger builds, X-bow daggers and bow daggers, and I'm running a bow dagger hit build, and I was missing 60% of my attacks on them. And believe me, of course, time to kill is increased if I'm missing 60% of my attacks, but that's not a good feeling of time to kill being increased. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel good when I'm missing my key skills. I'd rather it be be tankier rather than, bro, I can't hit this motherfucker. And because then because RNG, it's like, oh, if I hit this skill, then I'll win. I one shot him. But if I don't hit the skill, now I'm not
Good
gonna
old
deal with that much
evasion
damage because maybe a Zephyr's knock or a strafing misses or whatever that may be, right? So I don't know, man. I gotta see how much tankier people feel with the PvP changes or with the PvP stats, and how much tankier people are going to be with the level 50 to 55 cap with more HP, because they did say it's going to be significantly more HP. But it doesn't actually feel super amazing with the amount of hit that's available compared to evasion right now. And it's even more, especially rock paper scissors. Danny, you were talking about like mages not being like, or mages melting you. It's even more like that right now. Like for example, you can spec so that like a fucking greatsword dagger can't fucking touch you because they're gonna be running at 1500 hit and you'll have 2400 melee evasion. But then the second a mage comes, he's gonna literally fart on you and you'll die. For example, you know, it's kind of like a pick your poison situation.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely the rock paper scissors play at Stagio. I see some people saying to me in chat as well, like, you know, if I'm not fully geared, why don't I expect to get one shot? I think the main point I'm trying to make is that first month of PvP where everybody's in blues or greens. This game is I can't express how
Oh, whoa, whoa,
fun it
whoa,
is.
whoa, whoa,
Like
whoa, whoa.
it's just genuinely
Ooh,
incredible.
that
Like
was
it's so
close,
much
bro.
fun. And then when you get past that, obviously if you're not keeping up or new players, it's at that point then when the fun starts to drop off
Ooh, that
because
was so
it
close.
for some I don't know how it could be done, but that early game feeling needs to kind of be portrayed in the end game as well, where I don't know, you having
Yeah.
proper battles and skill comes into play, not just your build, you know. And I think
Ah,
that's my point I'm
no.
trying to make, regardless of how much gear or
Sure.
you have or I have. That
Yeah,
fun at the start needs to find its way to the fun at the end game as well.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that
I
point
agree.
because, like, even the solution they're adding, like, you're basically expecting people to wait until level 55, which is not even going to happen in the first few months on release, for example, to get that new defensive stats, which is like, you will lose a lot of people in the process. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the defensive
But
stats are coming in 21.
I think we should grind in an MMO. Like I'm not saying let's not grind. It is 2024, and our attention spans are much less than what they used to be. We need to grind. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that, but find that fun at
You
the
gotta
end
find
game.
that
Yeah,
balance.
absolutely. No, I agree. I think the experience definitely needs to be fun. And time to kill is certainly an issue. I'm just curious as to how they actually take it. But as far as the YouTube video goes, guys, this is going to be the end of the show. This went on 15 minutes too long. I was trying to get this to go 30 minutes for YouTube, but we are at the 45-minute mark. We are going to continue to have this conversation on Twitch for a little bit longer. So if you do want to hear the full podcasts, then just join us on Twitch. All of the links can be found in the description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let us know what you guys think in the comment section.
All right. Well, that was such a quick video. Man, he wants to do that in 30 minutes. Whew. I feel like doing a podcast, you got to at least do like a minimum an hour. In my opinion. Oh gosh. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how Throne and Liberty ends up being in the West. I think it will be pretty popular for the first month or so. And then we'll definitely start seeing the numbers kind of die down. Time will tell. Let's see. What? No shot. Let's see. Let me turn this down. All right. We got like 7 more minutes. We'll see how much I end up getting. I think so far, this might be my best hour. I could be wrong though. Definitely think the attack speed skill helps. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Kind of lost. Where am I at? What am I doing? Yeah, what's going on? Why is this loading? It just keeps buffering. Like what? I don't know why. It's just not wanting to play. I don't get it. There we go. So weird.
Sandstorms in the night, wizard in the light, magic sparks bright, sulfur mine tight, grind all day long, wizard stay strong, Decky.
Oh, did it buffer again? Wow. All right, I guess my music's not gonna play. Well, yep, no music. I don't know what's going on. What am I doing? What the heck? I am so turned around and lost. It's not even funny. Do not judge me. All right, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Come on, can we stay strong? Can we stay strong? Well, hey, I was about to come to you, but you came to me, so that's perfect. All right, I'm gonna do one more pack, and then we'll call it there. Wait, did I just turn that off? All right, let's see what we got. Hey. All right. The most trash I got in an hour so far. I'll take it. Let me log this here into Garmoth. Oh, 10, 283, 283, 202. Wow, I didn't get any black leaves. Kind of crazy. 80. Look at that. 31. And then 2 of those. Wish you could switch the freaking class. That's so annoying. I literally wasn't paying attention to that. You gotta be freaking kidding me. Oh well. I gotta change that. So here's my 3 hours. Obviously, I did those 3 hours with Wizard, so I need to go back and change that to Wizard for those 3 hours. So kind of in the 400 million range. So not the greatest. Not the greatest. But it is what it is, I guess. Alrighty. Well, on that note, I'm going to hit the sack, go to bed, get some sleep because I am tired. But hey, it was good to be back streaming. Like I said, I'm feeling a little bit better. So, yeah. Hope y'all have a good day tomorrow. Peace.